Good morning, friends, and welcome to Wednesday. It is September 24th, and we're happy to have you joining us here for Morning Pulse, another edition of that. We bring you these local headlines every weekday morning at 8:30. I'm Kelsey Marier, your host and producer for this digital broadcast. We like to bring you news headlines in a fast format, pretty casually here, but we still want to get you all the information you need to know. So today we have three stories we're bringing you, two out of southeast Minnesota and one out of northern Iowa. So we're going to get started. I'll also touch on the weather at the end of this little fast cast here, just so you know what to expect when you're heading out the door. So we're going to start in southern Minnesota, over in Freeborn County in the Albert Lea area, with a story that's kind of an update to a story we brought you earlier this week. So we are learning some new information in a story out of Freeborn County. The sheriff's office there is sharing some new details about that threat investigation that we told you about. It prompted some school lockdowns in Albert Lea this week. So you may remember on Monday morning, Albert Lea area schools had all of their students move into the buildings, with some of them going into a secure mode due to this threat. Well, authorities have now gathered a little bit more information about what exactly happened and where this all kind of came from. So authorities say the FBI had contacted local law enforcement on Friday, so just a few days before the actual threat took place, about a brief conversation on Discord, which is an instant messaging platform, where one person was expressing some interest in committing and live streaming a school shooting in the Albert Lea area. So investigators were then able to determine that one of those people was local and the other person involved was out of the country. Authorities then intercepted a juvenile on Monday on a school bus before classes began in Albert Lea, and then later those authorities carried out a search warrant at the juvenile's home. They were able to remove all firearms. So nobody was hurt, obviously, that we have reported. The sheriff's office says right now, though, it is working with the Freeborn County Attorney's Office to kind of figure out what the potential charges are going to be in this case. But that is a little bit of an update from authorities, kind of the Freeborn County Sheriff's Office and the FBI on the investigation into this threat that happened at Albert Lea area schools on Monday. Our second story from Morning Pulse this morning is taking us to Iowa. This summer, the Iowa State Patrol actually saw a downward trend in deadly crashes, which is good to report. We want to bring you that news. You may have heard, you may have heard of the 100 deadliest days. That's kind of a term that law enforcement uses. It's between Memorial Day and Labor Day, kind of right in the middle of summer there. That's when local law enforcement agencies really throughout the country see the most traffic fatalities. So we wanted to talk to a state patrol sergeant in Iowa about what Iowa is seeing on the roads regarding this 100 deadliest days. So traffic deaths, according to an Iowa State Patrol sergeant, in Iowa, we're down about 14% this year, which is good news. He says that the total number of traffic stops are kind of comparable to that of some past years, but there has been an increase in warnings that have been given to drivers. So a decrease in traffic fatalities, but an increase in warnings to drivers. The increase in warnings is due to the start of Iowa's new hands-free law that took effect in July. And along with distracted driving, drunk driving is also another contributing factor to these traffic stops. That sergeant says the Iowa State Patrol ended up writing close to 4,600 warnings just for distracted driving between July and August. He says speed has also constantly been kind of a number one factor for traffic crashes in the Hawkeye State. So just kind of some numbers there, just giving you some insight into what traffic trends look like in the state of Iowa. Our third and final story, we are going into Rochester, talking about the future of renewable energy. It's going to be a little bit brighter. This comes after an announcement from Rochester Public Utilities. So according to RPU, the City Council has approved a recommendation from the RPU Utility Board to kind of move forward with a long-term wind energy purchase agreement. Utility officials say that this agreement could really serve as a foundation for the city's renewable energy plans, which we have told you about before. RPU says this will provide predictable, stable energy costs while also working toward its goal of delivering 100% renewable energy to the residents of Rochester. So 2 more wind projects, which are recommended by the RPU Utility Board, are expected to kind of come before the City Council in the near future, so we'll make sure to keep you updated on that. But yeah, just an update from City Council with RPU on the wind energy agreement here for the Med City. All right, those are our three news headlines that we have for you on this Wednesday morning. The other top story we've been talking about today is really the weather, which is another dense fog advisory for a lot of southern Minnesota. Yesterday, we saw a very, very dense, very thick fog across almost our entire viewing area. Today, still dense fog, just not as much in North Iowa, and it's a little less thick than yesterday. Still thick out there, though, so you're going to notice it right away when you go out. Just remember to give yourself a little bit of extra time, because we know even just a little bit of fog can create a lot of problems on the roads. So don't use your high beams, but make sure that your headlights are on so that other cars can see you, especially in those really thick fog areas. And just know that the fog is going to lift right around 10 a.m. or a little bit after that. And we're going to get to some sunshine for later in the day. So that is good news, and we're going to see 70s as well. The rest of the week also looks like it's going to be perfect in the weather department, in the sunshine, seeing sunshine throughout the rest of the week, even into the weekend, which is really great to hear. So things to look forward to in the weather department in southeast Minnesota and northern Iowa. All right, that's all the news and weather that I have for you on this Wednesday morning. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you join me back here tomorrow for another edition of Morning Pulse. Until then, I'll see you later.